climbed inside the car from the other side and
Camper van is fully ablaze. I'm not feeling it.
What is that?
Echoes call from hollow halls, a voice that creeps and softly crawls. Time stands still, the air is...
On June 23, 2025, ADZ Ventures' latest upload takes a sharp turn from his typical lighthearted travel content into something far more unsettling. What began as a casual trip to the seaside town of Rye in search of a birthday gift for his mum quickly spiraled into a chaotic and alarming incident involving arson, emergency response, and a late-night scramble for safety. Earlier in the day, the YouTuber set off on what was supposed to be a peaceful antique hunting adventure in the south of England.
Extremely important mission like no other. Unless, of course, somebody's done a mission that's similar before, then it's a mission like another. But anyway, we're on a mission. We've got to get down to the Kent coast. In fact, I might be lying about that. I think it might be East Sussex. Either way, we're going down to Rye. I've put the location into the sat-nav, so without further ado, let's let this mission commence, albeit extremely slowly. Well, I haven't come as far as Rye because I looked on the map and parking there seemed like a bit of a nightmare. There's height barriers on all the car parks. So we're in a place now called Winchelsea, or we're near Winchelsea anyway. I think we're on the way there. We should be there in 1 minute, and because the antique shop is going to be shut today already, I'm thinking we're just going to rock up here, have some dinner, which is something I've never had before, by the way, and then from there we can go on to this shop in the morning. I found this one here. I don't know if I trust it. Is it wide enough? Far enough from the danger of the road? I reckon it probably is, right? I think actually I might spin around and go a little bit further back up the road, because the ones up there, whoa, I'm stacking it. The ones up there are more like spaces just for one vehicle, and I'd rather that, just in case we get loads of visitors. Quite, it's a bit windy out here, but I thought I'd show you these sheep and the view before we head back. Look at that. But yeah, also this one here is on a little bit of a wonk. So let's get back in the van, spin it around, and I'll go to one of the spots that I saw further up there. All right, this one here seems better and a little safer. Plus, we do also have some sheep over this side as well. So let's drop the anchors and prepare to live.
He found a quiet pull-off near Winchelsea Beach to spend the night, surrounded by rolling sheep-dotted fields, the sea on one side, and a small lake on the other. It was picturesque, calm, exactly the kind of setting van lifers dream about. But as dusk fell, things took a darker turn. While finishing a second toasty off camera, he noticed a van park unusually close in what had been an otherwise empty pull-in. He brushed it off until he heard an out-of-breath man sprint past his van. Minutes later, smoke and fire were visible in the distance.
I'm so confused about what's going on outside, right? Look at this. What is that? It looks like smoke coming out. Right, hold on a second. This is bad. Right, some lorry was just outside mine. Or just out the front. I swear that's a fire. That is not clouds. What is happening? It is. What is happening? Right, so I'm trying to film me at the same time as filming the fire up there. Something bad's happened, obviously. I know who it was because there was someone on my CCTV. It was all a bit weird. I'll tell you about it in a minute. I'm going to go speak to this bus driver. I'm just going to go spin my van around in case someone comes back and does that to my van, because it was, someone's done that.
It has looked like it has been done.
Well, it has been done because the geezer just ran past me, jumped in his motor and sped off that way. Right, someone set fire to the van that's just down the road behind me, and it was the person who was parked in front of me. I'll explain more in a minute, but I need to move my van in case they're going to do it to mine as well. Obviously, I'm no longer going to be staying here, but the old Bill, they're going to want to talk to me about this. I can see a flashing light up near it, so that's obviously some sort of traffic control coming along.
A caravan, likely the one recently parked nearby, had gone up in flames. He quickly began recording and moved his van in case whoever was responsible returned. The fire grew rapidly, traffic stalled, and the fire engine raced to the scene as the blaze consumed the entire vehicle. No one appeared to be inside, but the cause was clearly suspicious. He managed to speak with a bus driver and nearby locals, all equally shocked by the intensity of the fire.
The camper van is fully ablaze behind me there, this is no joke. We've got a massive tail of traffic all down here. I can hear the fire engine in the background making its way up. This is not good. There we go. Apologies, I know you won't be able to see much on my camera right now, but I'm walking up the little ramp up onto the wall of the beach, and I can't see anything. Where's my torch? I'm just going to walk along the top. I was going to see if I could see it a bit better from up here. It looks like they've already put it out, to be honest. I've just been chatting to those guys. It's probably been about 10 minutes now since that fire engine turned up. There's no old bill, which is surprising. Just walking a bit closer to it now. You can see the fire engine's just down there. The camper van is now in ashes on the floor. It's been completely burnt out. You can see the guys just down there spraying the last bits to make sure it's fully out. But that is the end of one vehicle. I guess I've got to wait for the police to turn up, because if I leave the scene, they're going to think it's suspicious. But other than that, I don't know what to do. Obviously, I'm not going to sleep here for the night now. It sounds like it might have been targeted on that particular van because it's been sat there for ages, apparently. But you never know, it could have been just a random camper van burn. And the thing is, if he decides to do it again, if he's some nutter and he comes back, I don't particularly fancy going up in flames tonight when I'm asleep.
The emergency services arrived, and while the fire was eventually extinguished, he stayed put to wait for the police, knowing his dashcam had likely captured key footage. That night, sleep was difficult to come by. Height restrictions, narrow lanes, and a sense of vulnerability made it hard to find a safe place to park. Eventually, he returned to the same area but much farther down the road, away from the fire's location. The next morning, he reviewed his security footage. The dashcam confirmed that the act had likely been intentional.
So let's just talk you through this on the actual timeline of exactly how things happen from my point of view. So first of all, obviously, as you saw, I made the world's most glorious toasty. And then after that, I actually made a second one off camera because I just wanted to enjoy the pure goodness to myself. And whilst I was eating that, I heard an out-of-breath man running past my van. It sounded like he was in a rush, right? In fact, no, let's back up a bit before that. When I was eating my second toasty, I looked up on the CCTV and I saw a van just parked up in front of me. Now, bear in mind that I'd chosen to park in this particular lay-by because it's a small one. Now, some of these lay-bys up here are absolutely massive. There's other small ones as well, but there's plenty of them, right? So I thought, if I park there where that car was, that's where we were, no one's going to come into this spot because there's just no need for it. And whilst I was eating, I looked up on my CCTV, like I said, and I saw a van was parked there. Now, I was going to get out of the van and make a joke about it. I was going to say, how dare they park in my driveway and all this, just for a laugh. But before I had a chance to do that, I was finishing my food, and like I said, this geezer ran past the van that way and up here. Now, as soon as I heard his footsteps running and panting past my van, I looked up on the CCTV. I was like, what's all that about? Why is someone out for a run at this time of night? But I saw that he jumped straight into his van and sped off, which I thought was a bit weird, and I was wondering why. But in my head, I just come to the conclusion that maybe he'd been caught short. He needed the toilet, and he'd run up onto the beach, done his business, and then he jumped back in the van and just carried on his journey. So I looked back on the camera, and I saw a light on the front camera and a light on the rear camera. Now, that's not out of the blue. I thought it was just headlights coming down the road. One of them was. It was a bus that was coming down this road here. That's the bus that you saw last night. And the other light was up there, which turned out to be the fire, but at the time I thought it was another headlight coming down.
The man who sprinted past his van had previously approached the beach stairs with what looked like a bag. He crouched, appearing to prepare something, before disappearing toward the caravan. Not long after, the fire started. The man returned from the beach, checked on the flames from a distance, then ran back past the house van and drove away. Though the footage didn't reveal any identifying details, no clear view of his face or license plate, the implication was clear: this wasn't an accident. The act was premeditated. Whether it was a targeted attack or an opportunistic act of vandalism remains uncertain. But the randomness of it, how easily his own van could have been the target, was chilling. It would be fair to say that he was lucky to have remained unharmed. The YouTuber decided to shift gears and complete his original mission. Returning to Rye, he found a kind parking attendant who let him stay for free while he quickly dashed to the antique shop. The rare item his mum had seen, a teapot-like relic, was still there. He purchased it, and with some relief, ended the video. What did you make of this encounter? Let me know. Before moving forward, do me a favor and give this video a like, and also subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. We're trying to hit 100,000 subscribers before August, and I also got a surprise for you once we reach 100K. Now, enjoy the rest of the video and watch till the end because there's a hidden word somewhere in the video for you. Let's see if you can comment the hidden word correctly. Julian, Sven, and their beloved travel companion, a dog named Felix, have built a life on the road. With over 60 countries under their belt, years of hitchhiking, couch surfing, and now van life in their vintage van, Daisy, the couple, is no stranger to the unexpected. But nothing prepared them for what unfolded along the Mediterranean coast of Italy. The footage begins with the couple returning in a panic to their van after receiving a security system notification just minutes after leaving Daisy unattended.
Okay, so the door was closed.
It was like that,
There was a cover.
and yeah, there was a cover, and I saw immediately the center pedal was lying down there. We didn't do that, and we left the cover there. And then I saw, look at the locks. The sliding door can't be opened anymore. It's blocked. I don't know. This one, I locked it before, and it's open. They just went in here. We left the chaos like this, kind of, but not exactly like this. So they threw this thing over there and they took out the stand-up pedal, and then they grabbed
Everything they could.
everything they could.
So my handbag was down here. Luckily there's nothing important basically in my handbag. My handbag is a trash bag. But
Except our passports.
there were our passports and Felix vaccination and pet passport inside. So this is gone, but this is just paper. We're in Europe, it doesn't really matter. We can cross the borders with our ID cards, and for Felix, he will be fine. No one will check it. It's okay. Not even my wallet was in there. A few days ago I put it somewhere else and I forgot about it. Oh, luckily, because otherwise the cards would be gone.
Your ID.
My ID, yeah. This is what I need to travel in Europe. Yeah, so from here only my handbag is missing.
Door is not broken. They just like climbed inside the car from the other side and grabbed everything they could. And unfortunately, I already saw it. Our camera is gone. And oh my god, it's
Our full camera bag.
my full backpack with all the camera stuff inside is gone. The drone is gone.
The
All
camera.
of our, the camera, the lenses, and our memory cards.
What was supposed to be a peaceful lunch outing quickly turned into chaos. When Sven rushed back, he found the sliding door jammed and the locks broken. As the camera rolls, we are given a first-hand look at the aftermath. Forced entry, scattered belongings, and several valuable items missing. Despite the shock, Julian and Sven immediately try to piece together what had been taken. Julian's handbag, though not particularly valuable, is gone, along with Felix's pet passport and some minor documents. But what hits hardest is the loss of their entire camera setup. Their primary camera, drone, memory cards, and essential accessories all stolen. These weren't just tools. They were the core of how the travel tellers captured and shared their experiences. The estimated value of what was taken? Roughly $6,000. Even more devastating, they had no insurance to cover any of it. Still, amidst the despair, there were small mercies. The thieves, in their haste, overlooked Julian's laptop, arguably their most important piece of equipment, holding countless documents, personal files, and project work. The iPad, a backup camera, and a crucial bag filled with SD cards and data also remained untouched, buried beneath layers of the couple's usual van life clutter. One bittersweet twist was the effectiveness of their much-maligned security system. Though often a source of frustration, it proved its worth. sending an immediate alert and likely cutting the robbery short. It's assumed the perpetrators, possibly startled by the alarm and the arrival of another family near the van, fled the scene before they could search more thoroughly. Julian and Sven managed to involve the local police with the help of bystanders. Though the officers were kind and took their statements at a nearby station, it became clear there was little they could realistically do. The thieves were likely locals, well-practiced, and long gone. Despite hours spent recounting what happened, the reality set in. Justice probably wouldn't come. Adding to the unsettling nature of the break-in was the suspicion that the robbers had been watching them.
Okay, so let's just start from the beginning. This is very, very bad. We wanted to go to the restaurant and...
Just 5 minutes from here.
Exactly. And then we saw when we left, there was a car standing on the street and it was just like standing right at the point where Daisy is, and they were just standing there and looking at the car, I guess.
It was a young couple.
Yes, it was
saw.
a young couple. Later on we saw it was a young couple, but because it was standing there, I turned on the security system. So I turned it on, and like 1 minute after it says it's turned on, I got a notification on my watch that it detected like someone breaking into the car. And it never did that before, so we knew it's serious. So I immediately ran back to Daisy. At first I saw like everything looked good, all the windows are still there, not broken into, and I saw something under the bus and it was the stand-up pedal, and I immediately thought, okay, that wasn't us, someone was inside the bus. And luckily there was a couple standing next to our car which just was getting ready to go to the beach, and they were Italians, and I asked them if they saw anything. They said no, there was just a family leaving the place. I also saw it, like a family with 2 children calmly driving off, but I guess they didn't do anything. Probably the thieves or the thief probably left because the family came, or like the other cars came.
And our
security system was ringing all the time.
Wee wee wee.
Yes, and I asked them if they could help us, like calling the police. I called the police, and luckily they talked to them and explained what happened in Italian.
Earlier, the couple had seen a car idling nearby with a young couple inside, perhaps acting as a lookout. The timing was too precise to be random. Within minutes of leaving Daisy, the security system triggered. Whoever was behind it had waited patiently, made their move fast, and disappeared just as quickly. More than the material loss, it was the violation of space that disturbed them. Daisy isn't just a van, it's their home. To know strangers rifled through their belongings, walked where they sleep, touched their private possessions, left them feeling vulnerable and exposed. It wasn't just a robbery, it was a break-in of their personal sanctuary. Despite the heartbreak, the travel tellers remained grounded. It could have gotten much worse, but they were thankful that it didn't. But it was a reminder of how quickly a moment peace in paradise can turn into a nightmare. Even so, Julian and Sven emphasized their enduring love for Italy. They were clear, this incident wouldn't taint their view of the country or its people. Bad actors exist everywhere, and one awful experience doesn't erase the beauty they've found on the road. While this episode was a sobering one, it also underscored the resilience and honesty that make the travel tellers so compelling. In a candid and highly relatable video uploaded on June 25, 2025, YouTuber Thomas Locke documents his first ever truly solo woodland wild camp. An experience that starts off promising, but ultimately ends in retreat. What made him retreat, you may ask? I guess you'll have to watch and see. Thomas introduces this outing as a very special episode. Not only is it the first time he's wild camping solo in a woodland, but it's also done on private land with full permission, something that he hopes will bring a sense of safety and calm.
Now, I appreciate this isn't like wild camping, and I imagine a lot of people are thinking, oh well, this is just car camping. At a certain point, all you're doing is car camping. And that's true, but what I need to do, and I've said this a few times recently, is build up this like tolerance to camping, where I know that I'm going to get a good night's sleep. I know I'm not going to get freaked out by the sounds in the night. This is a perfect spot, by the way. This is literally a perfect spot. The car's just there. A bit lame, but this is a good spot. Yeah, I've got to build up that tolerance. I've got to get used to the sounds of the woodland in the night, and knowing that I'm in a safe place that I have permission to be in is going to help with that, for sure. Because you see what happened with the I felt like I was being watched, and I felt like I wasn't welcome. Whereas I know I could be being watched. Just vibe with the forest, man.
Everything seems lined up for a peaceful night. Thomas sets up camp near his car, which technically make this car camping than hardcore wilderness survival. But the point for him is not to push extremes. It's to build a tolerance, a comfort level with sleeping outside alone, and learning to silence the unease that tends to creep in during nights in the wild. He begins setting up his Fox 2 tent. The evening unfolds in a relaxed, almost routine fashion. As night falls, Thomas appears increasingly at ease, acknowledging his pre-camp jitters but feeling accomplished for pushing through. But then the shift begins.
Righto, that's the live stream done. Not bad at all. Shout out to Ian for the super chat, £5, what a legend. And that'll be available to watch as well if you want to catch up with all that. It was a lot of nonsense. Had some absolute freaks in my chat tonight. It's starting to get dark, so I mean it's not, like, it's still bright out, like you can see the sky is still bright. But I think I'm gonna head into bed. The darker it gets, the more panicky I'm gonna be, but there's no reason to be. I won't lie. I'm not feeling it. Fuck me. Oh god, I just saw a tree, and for a second there I thought, oh god, it looked like a creature, man. My brain recognised it as that, and then I turned away and I looked back, and then it processed it. Yeah, no, I'm not feeling it, boys. If I get into my tent and just chill out and calm my nerves down, I'll be fine. I literally came off the live stream, looked around.
As the darkness deepens, so do Thomas's nerves. He ends his live stream that he has started at around 9:40 p.m., acknowledging the subtle creeping sensation of vulnerability that comes with being truly alone in a forest. He laughs off some unsettling comments from viewers who jokingly claimed they were nearby and watching him. But it clearly sticks in his mind. What really unsettles Thomas, though, is the sound. At first it's the quiet, the absence of civilization. Then it's the startling illusion of seeing a tree in the darkness and mistaking it for a creature. And then the moment that breaks his composure.
Chill out for a little bit, see how I feel. I need to get over it, man. I need to get over it. It's as simple as that. Persevere. Just what I wanted. Monk chat going crazy. I'm chilling out though. I'm glad that I caught that sort of moment of like doubt on camera. It's very hot. I'm gonna stick it out. That would be a terribly freaky noise if I didn't know what it was.
a sudden shrill sound in the night. Later in the video, he clarifies what actually happened. While drifting off to sleep, deep in that semi-conscious state between waking and dreaming, he hears what sounds like a woman screaming just outside his tent. Jolted into full awareness, his body flush with adrenaline, he scrambles to understand what he heard. He wants to believe that it was a muntjac deer, a small species known for its unearthly, human-like call. Still, the effect is irreversible. Once spooked, Thomas's heart rate doesn't settle. The deer continues calling for 20 minutes. Even after he identifies the source, the unease was still there. The magic of the evening has turned to static tension. He doesn't feel safe anymore. He tries to ride it out but ultimately makes the call to bail. By his own admission, the departure isn't out of terror but exhaustion. He says he simply doesn't want to spend the night in a state of hyper-alertness, unable to sleep, stressed by every crack of a twig or scream of a deer. Packing down in the dark, he races through the motions, describing that odd feeling many campers know, the instinctual rush to get moving, as though something unseen is urging you to flee. He emphasizes that nothing truly bad happened, but the intense emotional and sensory response still made it impossible to relax. For Thomas Locke, this night in the woods, bugs, deer, and all, was a vital step on his path. Like always, let me know what you made of this encounter. In this 30-second clip captured by Nathan Arnold, what begins as a simple woodland outing with his young son quickly turns into a moment of raw terror. The footage, dated February 29, 2012, shows the pair exploring a quiet wooded area when they suddenly stop, startled by something unusual up ahead.
You don't see that?
I don't see anything. What is that?
You see it?
Yeah. What is that? Gosh.
Let's get out of here.
Yeah.
The camera captures a dark figure in the distance, tall, cloaked in what looks like a flowing black robe. It's difficult to discern precise features due to the low video quality, but its size and posture are enough to unnerve the viewers and clearly frighten Nathan and his son. Nathan whispers, tension growing in his voice. His son confirms he sees it too, prompting a mutual decision to back away quickly. The footage becomes shaky as they retreat, fear escalating with every step. Despite the briefness of the video and the blurry visuals, the emotional weight of the moment is palpable. Some online have speculated the figure could have been Bigfoot, while others suggest it may have been a person dressed in a robe or costume. But what's hard to dismiss is the authenticity of Nathan and his son's reaction. Their panic doesn't feel performed, it feels instinctual, real. Whether it was a hoax, a case of mistaken identity, or something truly unexplained, this brief clip taps into a primal fear, the unease of encountering the unknown in a place where help is far away. Would you camp alone in the woods after seeing something like this? Dawn, the creator behind Project Darkwood, ventured into the deep woods of an undisclosed location after being invited by a landowner who claimed his property was frequented by something not entirely human, a semi-aggressive Bigfoot.
Welcome to Project Darkwood. My name is Don, and I'm disgusting. I've been hiking for like 8 miles, and I'm sweaty. But basically what has happened is this guy contacted me through my email and said that he has a big piece of land that allegedly he has had multiple encounters with a semi-aggressive Bigfoot on. And he asked if I wanted to come check it out. And I was like, in what context? And he said, if you want, you can spend the night and, camp out and see what happens. And I said yes. So here I am, I'm on his property. I got my camp set up right now. I had to hike into the middle of it because I wanted a good vantage point to get to all the corners. Also, if you watched the New Year's update video, in it I talked about how my night vision camera was kind of having malfunction issues when I was in Blue Ridge. Well, unfortunately, it shit the bed and is now just out of commission completely. So we are going old school. I'm using the DSLR with a headlamp. It's a pretty bright one, so we should be all right. I thought about waiting until I got the night vision cam fixed, but I have no idea when I'm gonna be able to afford that. And I definitely cannot afford a new one, so we're just gonna wing it. But yeah, it should be completely dark in a couple hours or so, and then we will put on the gear and go look around and see what we see. Hopefully I don't get eaten. I don't think I will, but
What was supposed to be a night of cryptid exploration turned into something far more terrifying. In their intro, Dawn admits there's no elegant way to say it. They might have caught a Bigfoot on camera. Instead of building suspense, they jump straight into the experience, allowing the footage and their raw reaction to speak for itself. The trip began with optimism. The property was expansive, dotted with trails and bordered by various water sources, a detail that caught Dawn's attention, as cryptids are often spotted near water.
The battery seems to not last as long in the lighting rig, so if that goes out, we will at least have the headlamp. Just gonna try my best to try to make sure everything is well lit, which seems to keep it from getting crunchy, and try to hold the camera still. Something is moving. There's like armadillos everywhere, and they sound so much bigger than they are. There's one earlier, I started getting freaked out, and then I was like, God damn it, every time. I do have my bear mace on me just in case anything decides to get frisky with me. Don't think it will, but better safe than sorry. By the way, this is the northeastern corner of the property-ish, where we are right now. I can see tiny eye shine everywhere. There's like spiders and stuff. There's plenty of water sources on this property. I could see why there would be any kind of animal activity on here, especially cryptids. I don't know how much this has to do with cryptids specifically as opposed to any other animal, but like they're almost always sighted near sources of water. To me, that just sounds like they're things that need to drink water to live. But I could be wrong. There's like the whole missing 411 thing of like water source plus granite equals missing people or whatever. Strong sulfur smell. And of course, the guy who's letting me stay here did not want me to dox him, so I will not do that. Well, I'm not getting any weird vibes. I don't feel like I'm being watched. Nothing's really happening. I think we'll move on to another sector. Jesus Christ, this property is huge. I'm having to walk miles at a time just to get between the different parts. Whew.
Due to technical issues with their night vision camera, they resorted to using a DSLR with a headlamp, embracing an old-school method of filming. Their hope? To explore every corner of the land and potentially document something unusual. They hiked for hours through dense woods, covering every quadrant of the property. In the southwestern corner, where the most activity had reportedly occurred, the vibe began to shift.
Seems like there's a little less animal activity over this way, quieter, which seems promising. Some of these trails are really thick, wide trails. Makes me wonder what this land used to be for. So I don't think he made all the trails himself. I think he probably bought it like this, at least for the most part. Okay, well, I've been around this part for about an hour now. Nothing seems to be happening, so let's go ahead and move to the southwestern corner. So the light panel finally died. There's bugs everywhere. I'm gonna continue on with the headlamp and hopefully that should be just fine. All right, we're now in the southwestern corner of the property. Allegedly, this is where the guy said he had the most activity. That remains to be seen. A little spooky, I guess. It's mostly just quiet. Apparently they're building a subdivision over that way. Huh.
It was quiet, eerily so. Then out of nowhere, something moved.
What the hell was that? Ooh. Something walking. Oh, shh. Okay, all right. Okay. Oh, thank. Okay. Oh, keys. Jesus Christ. Oh. Okay. Oh. Oh. Holy. I'm still filming. Okay. I ran all the way back to the car. Jesus Christ. I hope to. I caught that. Whew. Okay. I'm gonna get my stuff tomorrow and just hope that it's all still there and not up at all. Christ. Holy shit, I've never run so fast in my life. I'm shaky. Holy all right. It didn't even hit me fully until like a couple seconds after.
Dawn's reaction is not dramatized. It's genuine, terrified, and instinctual. Jesus Christ, they gasp, grabbing their keys and bolting through the forest, camera still rolling. It's shaky, chaotic, but undeniably real. They sprint back to their car, heart racing, breath ragged, overwhelmed by what just occurred. Once safe, Dawn reflects on the encounter. They hadn't fully processed what happened until moments later, when the fear settled into their bones. Though hesitant to upload the footage, aware that if it's authentic, it might draw unwanted attention, they ultimately decide to share it, trusting their instincts and community. Later, in a post-encounter monologue, Dawn shares the broader context. The landowner, who had reached out via email, seemed sincere and had nothing to gain from fabricating a story. Dawn returned the next day to retrieve their gear, thankfully undisturbed, but couldn't shake the unease of what they saw. What stood out wasn't just the size of the figure or the eyeshine, a detail that typical costumes don't replicate. It was the way it moved, the musculature beneath the skin, the fluidity of its motion. It didn't behave like a person in a suit. There were muscles, they explained, still rattled. It didn't move like a costume. Their gut told them they were in danger. Something didn't want them there. Whether it was territorial or simply watching, the energy shifted dramatically in that final moment. "I've never run so fast in my life," they admit, still visibly shaken. But Dawn also allows room for skepticism. They acknowledge the possibility of a hoax, or that fear might have distorted their perception. Yet even as the rational part of their brain questions the authenticity, their instincts tell a different story. That was real. That was not a human. They don't claim certainty, only that what they felt was deeply wrong. In the end, they promise to upload a frame-by-frame analysis soon, hoping to better understand what they saw. And while they're aware that cryptid content walks a fine line between curiosity and ridicule, they remain committed to seeking answers, even when those answers terrify them. What did you think of this encounter? I'll let you draw your own conclusions to this encounter as well. On January 7th, 2025, in the depths of winter, content creator Exploring with Bear ventured back into a chilling and remote stretch of wilderness. Known among viewers for being a hotspot of unexplained phenomena, including sightings of both Bigfoot and Dogman, the area had been dormant for nearly a year. This time, the plan was to combine an overnight truck campout with surveillance to see if any activity could be captured on camera. The weather conditions were unforgiving, with real field temperatures dropping into the teens. Bear relied on a wool blanket and a Zippo hand warmer to stay warm. His base for the night was the safety of his truck, parked close to the edge of the woods. Despite the extreme cold, he remained committed to the plan: build a fire, offer an apple at the so-called offering tree, and set up an infrared night vision camera to monitor the area while he slept. Bear noted that someone had previously drowned not far from the campsite. The tragedy, combined with consistent reports of mysterious lights and strange noises in the area, added to the uneasy energy of the site. Soon after setting up camp, he began hearing strange noises, including distant metallic clanging and unnatural thumps in the woods. While checking the area near the offering tree, he discovered what appeared to be large, unusual tracks.
There we go. Did you guys hear that? What in the world was that? What is this?
If you're still watching, comment the hidden word awesome.
This is footprints. It goes down. Look at all the leaves messed up there. Oh my goodness.
Some tracks were so deep and spaced so far apart that they seemed unlikely to have been made by a typical animal. Throughout the night, Bear continued to experience unsettling phenomena. Lights failed one after another. The wind intensified. Footprints appeared in places he had just cleared. At one point, something struck the back of his truck, startling him during a rare moment of rest. The sound of movement continued intermittently, paired with what seemed like vocalizations or howls in the distance. By the early morning hours, Bear attempted to review the scene again, but discovered that the IR camera he had set up was no longer in position. This baffling detail, combined with the fact that the apple offering remained untouched, deepened the mystery. He also spotted more tracks leading away from the area, adding to the sense that something or someone had been nearby without making direct contact. While no creature was caught clearly on camera, the accumulation of unexplained activity from footprints to object displacement and unsettling sounds created a deeply unnerving experience. By around 4 a.m., Bear had reached his limit. Cold, exhausted, and increasingly uneasy, he packed up and prepared to leave. The IR camera had stopped functioning, and the surrounding woods remained eerily quiet yet heavy with tension. Even without a direct encounter, the overall atmosphere and strange occurrences left a lasting impression. This particular adventure served as a reminder of the unpredictability of nature and the unsettling possibility that not everything in the forest can be easily explained. With this final encounter comes the end of another episode. If you haven't already, let me remind you again to like and subscribe. Also, leave a comment about what you liked and didn't like about this video. We always look to improve our video quality so you get the best videos possible. In about 3 seconds, there will be more disturbing videos on screen for you to watch, and with that, I'm out.